My sibling accused me of wrecking their world, claiming I'd forced them to move back with our parents. I shot back, telling them to get out. They'd been living in my home for 7 months without contributing a cent. Later, at our parents' house, they labeled me heartless. And then 2 weeks ago, my family exploded in a way I'm still struggling to process. I've stumbled across similar stories online, well-meaning offers to house family turning into drawn-out nightmares. I used to believe such things were impossible. Not like that. Not to real people. Now I know differently. It happens, and it cuts deeper when it's your own kin. My sister, let's call her Lisa, phoned me 7 months ago sobbing. They were being evicted from their rental in Boise over lease disputes, unpaid rent, and clashes with the landlord. Her partner, let's name him Tom, had been jobless for months, leaving them with nowhere to turn. They had a 10-year-old daughter, Mia, whom I'd always tried to treat kindly. Lisa pleaded to stay at my place in Nampa for just a short time. I agreed without a second thought. I didn't dwell on it. I'd recently renovated the spare room in my house. Working from home, single, and living solo, it felt like the right move. That decision still haunts me. At first, they acted appreciative, or at least faked it. I told them not to stress about rent or bills, just to focus on getting back on their feet. That was my first mistake, because when you hand people a free ride, some forget what gratitude looks like. Tom didn't even try to find work. I'm not kidding. Not one effort. He spent his days playing video games and cranking music in my garage. One evening, I came home to find he'd turned it into a makeshift hangout, complete with string lights, lounge chairs, and a neon sign that read, "Grind Mode." I still don't know what he was grinding for. Lisa picked up a part-time online gig but kept using my debit card, swearing she'd repay me when her paycheck came. Mia started scribbling on the walls with permanent markers within days, stars and random doodles. I repainted the corridor. She did it again and again. She also cut up my couch cushions to make a secret fort. Lisa dismissed it, saying she was just being creative. I covered everything: food, utilities, school supplies, clothes for Mia, even a pet lizard Tom brought home one day for Mia's emotional development. It disappeared after 3 days. I found it in my laundry basket. I was spending $5,000 to $7,000 a month to keep this chaos running. They treated my home like an all-inclusive resort with endless benefits. Then came the tipping point. 5 weeks ago, I walked into my office to find Mia streaming a loud Roblox session with friends on my work computer. She'd spilled juice on the keyboard and tried covering it with a napkin. Lisa blamed me for not locking it. That same week, I got a Venmo alert. Tom had sold my camera, the one I'd saved for months to buy. When I confronted him, he said he assumed I didn't need it anymore. That's when it hit me. They weren't planning to leave, ever. I gave them 2 weeks' notice. No yelling, no drama. I even offered to cover a deposit if they found a place. Tom acted like I'd banished them to the wilderness. Lisa stayed quiet, staring daggers as if I'd stabbed them in the back. 2 weeks later, they left. No cleaning, no gratitude, just gone. They moved to our parents' place across town. After they left, I found dried spaghetti in the rug, broken cabinet doors, and a cracked shower head that now wobbles. I thought it was over. I thought the worst was done. Then 2 days later, I went to my parents for dinner, and things unraveled in ways I never expected. 2 days after they moved out, I arrived at my childhood home, hoping for some calm. I didn't want to fight. I told myself that with them out of my space, I'd let it go. No grudges. I just wanted peace. Maybe deep down, I hoped for some recognition of what I'd done for them. I pulled up to the house I grew up in. Same tidy lawn, same crack in the driveway since 2004, but the second I walked in, I knew I'd misjudged everything. They were already at the table. My mom was overdoing it with food, playing peacemaker to keep things civil. Lisa wouldn't look at me. Tom gave me a smug smirk, like he'd come out on top. Mia was glued to a tablet, volume cranked, filling the room with cartoon chaos. It started quietly. My mom asked how they were settling in. Lisa launched into a tale about upheaval and the challenges of parenting while feeling like an intruder. No names were dropped, but the target was obvious. Tom jumped in, jabbing at how some people have it easy, living alone without burdens. I listened as they spun the past 7 months into a story where they were the victims and I was the villain. Lisa called it degrading, saying they'd felt like outcasts in my home. I almost scoffed until Tom called my place poisonous. That's when my dad, quiet until then, spoke. Calmly, firmly, he told Tom to be quiet and said he wouldn't stand for attacks on me in his house. The room went still. Even Mia looked up. Lisa tried to backpedal, saying it wasn't about disrespect, but how I'd left them feeling deserted. She accused me of tossing them out when they were still struggling, of abandoning them. I didn't bite. I just watched them. Tom, arms folded, playing the wrong party. Lisa, the suffering saint, and Mia, the only one I felt sorry for. A kid stuck in this mess. Then, without planning it, I said they couldn't stay at our parents either. I said it was time they acted like adults and sorted themselves out. I told my parents they were enabling the same cycle I'd just escaped. They had to go. Lisa went pale. Tom looked like he wanted to swing, but stayed quiet. My mom seemed floored. My dad rubbed his temples. No one spoke up for them. I left soon after, my plate barely touched. Sitting in my car, engine idling, I replayed what I'd done. I never thought I'd be the one to say it, but it needed to be said. For 2 weeks, I grappled with one question. Had I crossed a line, or was I the only one willing to set limits? But the drama wasn't over. After that dinner, I told myself I was done. No more meddling. I'd said my piece. Now it was my parents' issue. But days went by and I couldn't let it go. Not from guilt, but from frustration. Lisa and Tom had settled into our parents' home like it was their next free ticket. 3 days after dinner, I called my mom casually. She sounded drained. When I asked how things were, she sighed. The house was louder, code for Tom taking over the living room with his Xbox and rearranging furniture. Mia had tried feeding the cat junk food. Lisa had claimed my old bedroom as her workspace. I asked how long they'd stay. They haven't said, she answered. That's when I knew. Nothing would change without a push. I spoke to my parents separately. My dad took me to coffee and vented. Tom had taken his car without asking and brought it back on empty. Lisa was ordering delivery every night, wasting groceries. Worst of all, Mia had gotten into his tool shed. Thankfully, nothing was damaged. But the breach shook him. That night, my mom admitted over the phone. They'd argued over Lisa and Tom blasting the AC and leaving lights on. Tom brought liquor into the house, a hard rule breaker from our childhood, and Lisa got defensive when asked to help with chores. By the end of the week, we all quietly agreed. They had to go. What shocked us was their boldness. Lisa posted a grateful for home photo of herself working in our parents' dining room. Tom shared a shirtless biking clip shouting about finally living. He's 36. Then came the Amazon packages. Headphones, gaming gear, even a foldable chair. My mom had no clue who was paying. The next day, I got a fraud alert. Lisa had used my card again, the one I'd removed from her phone months before. I canceled it, called her, and said I'd reported it. She hung up. That night, my mom texted, "We're done, but you have to say it again." And so I did. On a tense Sunday, I walked into their house. Lisa was working at the table, screens everywhere, earbuds in, like she was shooting a vlog. Tom sprawled on the couch, volume blasting. Mia was sticking and peeling tape off the walls, ignoring my mom's requests. I stood in the middle and said it clearly. 1 week. You have 1 week to leave. No apologies, no softening. Lisa stared, stunned. Tom asked if my parents were okay with it. I looked at my dad. He nodded. My mom looked away. The chaos erupted. Lisa ranted about betrayal, my spite, my coldness. She said I was envious, which confused me. Envious of what? Tom tried challenging my dad. You're letting him control this family? My dad just stared until he sat down. Lisa stormed out, came back with a suitcase, and slammed it down. You're okay with this? She demanded of two of my mom, who left the room. Then came the line, I'll never forget. You destroyed our lives. Now we're stuck with our parents, as if they weren't already. I just said, get out. Tom muttered something. My dad stood, his quiet signal for enough. He told Tom to be quiet in his house. Mia, unaware, wandered off. No apologies, no thanks. They sulked all week. My mom sent updates. Lisa gave everyone the cold shoulder. Tom drank in the garage. They left 3 days early, leaving trash, broken things, and a sticky note from Mia. See ya, in blue marker. 2 weeks later, the house was calm again. My parents seemed relieved. But then the calls and letters started. Distant relatives chimed in. Some called me cruel. Others said kids shouldn't suffer for their parents' faults. My aunt texted, you did the right thing. They're leeches. A cousin said Lisa had burned their bridges too, but the criticism was relentless. Being the one to set boundaries comes with a cost, even when you're right. I don't regret it, but I carry a strange weight. Not guilt, but the burden of being the villain for standing firm. Then this morning, a knock. Mia stood on my porch, backpack in hand, asking to stay. She'd fought with Lisa and Tom and walked out. Calls to them went unanswered. So, here we are again. Her in the spare room, me wondering, did I do the right thing? Or am I back at square one, acting like the line was drawn when it never really was? If you connected with this story and felt its emotional weight, please share it, like it, and follow for more real-life stories and heartfelt experiences. Your support means everything and helps bring more stories like this to you. Thank you for reading, and I'll see you in the next one.